What else? What do we need? What do we need? I'm going to go this way. We don't need to be in the living room. What we got a kitchen for? Gathering around the kitchen table. Gathering in the kitchen. Oh. I think you should be in on it, bud. You should be in on it. How do we look? How do we look? How do we sound? How do you sound, Mom? What you got to say today? Nothing? Not going to really be great for video.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh. Hi, everybody.
We're just testing.
It's another gloomy day in Oregon.
Perfect thing to do on a gloomy day. That's why I kind of came up with it, coming up with gloomy things to do on gloomy days. Well, this is our second go at this because the first try was a whole 10 seconds of usable content about the 49ers. It was a 49ers Seahawks game.
I know, and it sucked.
I know, I'm sorry.
I know. I like the 49ers because their quarterback is from Iowa State, and I got all my degrees from Iowa State. So he's my number one favorite.
Perfect. Well, we are. We're Midwest folk. You know, like part of me doing this at the kitchen table is gathering around the kitchen table or in the kitchen was just always something we did. And then I kind of thought of like everybody rooting for the 49ers and the Seahawks. And then, yes, the Seahawks won. So I figured we're both kind of on the side of the Seahawks for the Super Bowl next weekend.
Not necessarily.
You might be on the Patriots?
I spend quite a bit of time in Eastern United States and in Massachusetts.
That's right. I was born in Massachusetts. So I have a fondness in my heart. They've done good this year, so it should be a fun game for us.
Should be.
But yes, I thought we got our beast modes on.
Oh, I know.
to get into it today.
Yes, because what was his name?
What was
the creator of Beast Mode?
Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch, who played for the Seahawks.
Marshawn. Oh, he did play for the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about that. I remember him playing for the Oakland Raiders, I think it was.
Yes, he came back for a season because he's from Oakland to play for the Oakland Raiders.
That's right. And now the Oakland Raiders are the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're terrible.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, you know.
And they fired their coach. I like Pete Carroll, but he was 2-something, and that wasn't good enough.
All right. Well, then, I guess to start, we can start now. My name is Samantha Shearer, and it's my mom.
I'm Judy Shearer.
And we are, we welcome you, and we're here today on January 30th, 2026.
Yes.
And I wanted to do these because we're celebrating sort of 10 years of like caregiving together and being together in this way. And in that time, we started wildflower collecting and sort of, and then you started researching wildflowers.
I did. I've always loved wildflowers, but we started doing it because I'd never lived out in the Pacific Northwest, and I was not familiar with them at all. And so it's been a journey of discovery.
Exactly. And you've been doing them every month for, I mean, it's been, not that full 10 years.
No,
but
I started in 2019, and the Master Gardeners have this monthly newsletter. It's called The Hoedown. And I read a few articles, and I thought, there wasn't hardly anything in there about our native wildflowers. So I started writing, and I've been doing a monthly article about native wildflowers ever since, except this month I decided to do a weed.
Nice. We're moved in the weed. So, and that's like there's like wildflowers and there's like weed control. And I thought at first I thought doing this I wasn't sure, and the first video take didn't go very well. Hence why we only got the 10 seconds of a little football back and forth. And then this beginning and going into this year has not been a it's been a tragic one, and there's been a lot of tragedy, and this is just in our streets. And I, like where we're sort of doing this in our like a pursuit of happiness might be appropriate to say. And this is something kind of we've done with our life together and pursuing happiness. And then there's like that, I'm just looking at what's going on today, that little liberty part. It's not such a little part. And I didn't know if that celebration that we're doing is appropriate given what's happening, and what was, has happened just this week in Minnesota and Minneapolis. And then I heard that someone in the, via the internet, that someone equated people that stay at home to being for that. And as two people that are often at home, and especially now, like saying that the weather isn't very great and it's not wildflower season, that we don't uphold our rights to do this, our, right to be here, that we are, still living. we sort of hit a benchmark this last year, which is what made me want to celebrate, and sort of highlight these wildflowers and the sort of flower power we're putting into things, but also that you did a weed for the first time. And it's like, there's some weed control that seems to be needing to be done in our country. My reason for wanting to do this, to highlight what you're doing, but also we the people doing the life liberty to pursue happiness. So without further ado, what was your, not your plant, not your flower of the month, but your weed this month?
I weed this month. It's okay, but Esther gardeners, I'm a master gardener, and they need to know about weeds, because people do. We have a plant clinic, and people bring things in, and it's nice to be able to tell them what they brought in. So
definitely,
I did a weed this month.
Does the weed have a flower though?
Oh, the weed has a very attractive flower. That's one of the reasons why I wrote about it, is that weeds can have attractive flowers. And I think that's how some of them got to the United States, because they had attractive flowers. Not the one I wrote about, but often that's the case, that they're brought in because they have a pretty flower, and people didn't realize that they may have a pretty flower, but they're very invasive at the same time.
Yes, when I first learned about the geranium, and it has a little pink flower, and it's called Stinky Bob, and I was like, oh, it's just this little ground cover flower that was in my yard and when I lived in Portland. And then it was like, oh, that is a very invasive weed. That's not only invasive, it's stinky. Stinky Bob.
Stinky Bob is stinky. But I wrote this month about spotted knapweed, and it has a really pretty flower. The flower looks like a bachelor button, if you know what that is. It's a blue flower that is, the bachelor button is sold in, it's used in the nursery trade significantly, even though it in itself is a weed. But it's grown in California for the bachelor button for florist trade.
Huh.
But knapweed looks a lot like it, but it has a purple flower, lavender, purple, and it looks very much like it, and but it's a weed in a nasty weed in pastures,
Oh,
which we have a lot of in Oregon, and so it's a big problem out here. And
was there anything significant about it? I'll post what it is in the notes for this episode about the knapweed and the article you write, so that if anyone wants more information about knapweed or wants to, read your article,
good.
you'll have a link to it. Was there anything else about it that you were like, knapweed, you got to know this?
No, it's just that it's like it's not a weed that you would have in your, well, you might get it in your backyard, but it's unlikely. It's usually it grows in very disturbed areas, like along railroad tracks and in ditches and in abandoned fields. So it's not a plant you would a weed that you would expect in your yard by any means.
So it mainly came from like humans.
It probably a lot of the weeds they're not sure how they got here, but a lot of them came in as seed in some of the, maybe in transferring seeds from one country to another, and it was an accidental introduction. I'm sure it wasn't purposefully introduced species by any means.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, and then when is it? Just it's mostly summertime, or is it spring, or
it blooms in summer, and I think sometimes the blooms can last into fall. So it's not an early bloomer. It's a mid to late summer bloomer.
Okay. Well, like I said, we'll let you know about it, and if you like it, let us know that you like it. And then and now we're budding right up to next month. So, do you have any ideas of a plant for next month, or maybe we can take suggestions?
I do have a plant for next month. It's one of the there are a lot of them. It's one of the fleabanes.
Fleabane.
And one of the reasons I wanted to write about it is fleabanes. They attract butterflies like crazy, and so in the picture there are butterflies on the fleabane, and there are hair streaks, which is a nice butterfly that we find in Central Oregon.
Okay. Well, then maybe next time we'll do that one, and then we can share that butterfly as well, because that'd be a pretty thing to have in between us here. We've got this little space where the microwave is, the open floor plant, and again, the kitchen idea. So yeah, we'll be back. This is where we are, and stay posted, and stay, and again, just because we're creating a safe space, well, and also looking at the majority of us in this country, thankfully, have the kitchen table and have a kitchen to gather in and gather together. And in creating that here, making that safe for us to be here, and then safe for us to go out all over in nature to explore and find these flowers and weeds too. And the idea of that being infringed upon in this way because we're saying something, or because we're doing that because, protesting against heinous crimes against our humanity, and, boots on ground crimes in our American our constitutional rights, to have like either of us hurt or anyone hurt because of that, and causes this like little fear that is so small in being here and creating the home we have and caregiving in it, to have it be suddenly feel really big to share that. And that I don't want that in our home, and I don't want that in your home. And I know that that's the majority of us. And these are just these little ways we can say, we are on the side of we the people, as two of the people.
Right, and I'm a Midwesterner, and I'm not from Minnesota, but we visited Minnesota often because it's got 10,000 lakes, and you go fishing up there, and it's a safe place for the most part, and it's tragic what happened in Minneapolis.
So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. To all the people that are, again, our hearts go out to people who have been under this assault by, our federal government, and, being disappeared in the streets, now and, throughout time. And that the idea of like moving forward, that for all of us in alignment with pursuit of happiness, and again, having the life to do it and the liberty, in that Midwest setting, grew up believing that was for all of us, that we were all inclusive in that. And maybe it's because we did grow up. You talked about Purdy, but was he Iowa State or?
Iowa State.
That in this college setting, there were people from all over the world that I grew up with.
Right. I spent many years trying to get my PhD, and so we were there at least 8 years.
For sure. Yeah. It was a good amount of time. I mean, I ended up being there like 15 years, and I've been now in Oregon longer, but we've spanned this entire country, like east to west, north to south. And that this is happening is absolutely abhorrent, I think is a good word. So it's like, if we can bring you any amount of happiness, or if you have happiness to share in that, or your own pursuit of happiness, like maybe this is a form in which we can all do that. I'm similar to, thankfully, the majority of us in America having kitchens to gather in. We also have this like AV department at our, in our hands, and, where you write your articles. And that if this voices towards that, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Let us know if you like it. And I think we'll be back again, because I like highlighting the really, the really, you've taught me so much about wildflowers in Oregon that I hadn't noticed before. And the weed control, I mean, that's a whole other, really important factor in like, want more wildflowers, need less weeds. Maybe that's just, we'll leave it at that today.
So long
for now. We did it. Nice. Oh, I guess I didn't introduce you. This is Izzy. This is Izzy's.